our general session held on Saturday. We'll be electing two people to serve on the board for the next 3-year term. So we'll start the day with that, and then we will go into our presentation. So the first 20 minutes or so, we will be having presentations from the people who are on the ballot. I'll be taking any nomination from the floor if there's any. And then we'll get up and do voting, go into the back, and then picking two people to vote off the ballot. And then we'll start our regular meeting from there. So starting out in no particular order, just the way they are in the ballot, we'll have Eric Buchholz.
Those guys that don't know me, I'm Eric Buchholz. Been around small racing for 30 plus years. One of the owners of RBM Racing, Purple Champ Sleds. I've been on the board now for 4 or 5 years in different, positions. I like to think I bring a little bit of our voice as teams, owners, drivers, stuff like that, to the board and make sure that that's all going forward. So appreciate your vote. Have a fun night.
So this one don't work?
No, but for people that are talking.
Oh, okay.
People that are like,
Got it. All right. Next up, Tasha Grabowski.
I'll just come here. That'll be easier. All right, I'm Tasha. I've already been on the USSA board for, I think, about 6-7 years already. I've been the secretary for the past 5 years. So my stepson, he's in racing, so we've part of it that way, but I've also followed along watching racing for over the past 20 years as well. So.
All right, thanks, Tasha. Next up, Jerry Cornick.
I think you folks are probably getting sick of seeing me up here, so just give you one more kick at the can here. I've been involved since basically 1972. Been on the board since 75. My contribution to the board is I normally assist either Bob or Len or some of the other board members with particular writing assignments, things of that nature, and sometimes advisories on how to conduct certain business or how we conducted it in the past and if it was successful or not. So kind of a combination of historian and writer. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Next up, the Justin.
Hi, Justin Olszewski. I've been with the USSA as a tech inspector, now director for 25 plus years. I've been on the board for many of those years also. I used to be secretary, but we have a fine person doing that now. I almost hold the ISR rules delegate. So whatever you guys bring to us for rules, I take to ISR. Appreciate the vote.
Thanks, Justin. Next up, Richard Pina.
Richard Corpita. Hi, I'm Richard Corpita. Dad, one of the junior drivers. Younger team into USSA and out authority.
All right, thanks, Richard. Bob Olderman.
I'm Bob Olderman. I'm sure a lot of you guys recognize me from the hot pit. Just like been doing this for 3 years now, and hopefully we can keep doing it more, and just want to make sure racing goes smoothly every time. Thanks for a vote.
Thanks, Bob. Do we have any nominations from the floor? If not, the nominations are closed. And
Just to reiterate that only members in good standing are able to vote. We have only members in good standing are able to vote. So if you're not on the sheet when you come back here, you won't be able to cast your ballot.
okay, and so remember, when you go to vote, we're voting for 2 people, so we get your ballot from back there, mark 2 on there, and we'll start with the front row here, any members, and work our way to the back. So we want to start here, and go visit Michelle and Tyler. Or we go from the front to the back, and then front to the back. Anybody who hasn't voted, we can vote up till 2:00. So if any of your friends have to stop in and join us, just remind them if they're a member that they can vote till 2:00 today. And then we'll be closing it then. And then we'll be counting them up and we'll have the results for tonight. So again, I just want to welcome everybody to the USSA General Session. I'm Leonard Wiedemeyer, the President of USSA. I'd like to thank Dirty Snow for coming today and actually broadcasting our meeting. And they'll also be here tonight for our awards portion of our ceremony. So they've been a great partner to work with this year. They helped us out with our Sprint World Cup, adding the drone this year. So that was kind of neat. That was some pretty cool footage. Hopefully some of you got to see some of that. Really added a whole new dimension. It's pretty neat to see it racing from the top. I also like to thank Mother Nature this year for allowing our promoters and our tracks to actually have a season and series. It's been a couple of years since we've actually been able to say we had a series. So it's great to see that Craig and Dave were able to put tracks together, and Greg had a little more work to do, starting basically with ashes and everything from the demolition, and actually redid the track and everything else. So Greg had a hard year too, but Mother Nature was kind to us, and we pulled Wausau and the other three. So really grateful for that. Another highlight of the year was the Decker Triple Crown for the F5 guys. Something a little different, well participated in. I think was really good for the sport. So kind of how the day will go, we'll start out with presentations from some of the board members here, Tyler and Bob and Justin. We'll work through not driver advancement, but how we allow drivers. We had some question after Wausau about who can race sport F5 and F5 classes. We'll kind of go through what the driver committee looks at and how that's done. Justin and Bob have stuff regarding ISR, possible rule changes. And we also have an update on schedule for next year and tour updates and things like that. We'll all go through today. And then kind of once we get through all of that stuff, we'll open it up to the floor for questions. We'll probably start with like fan and sportsman and just go by class up and work our way to champ on any questions or suggestions or whatever that we would like to discuss today or take back to the board, and we can discuss tomorrow and then in our next board meeting. So starting things off, we'll have Justin start out with ISR proposals going into this next year, or for the ISR meeting coming up. And if anybody has any questions, raise your hand. I'll be coming around with a mic to make sure everybody can hear it. So.
Okay, for this coming season, I've had, just a couple things that people approached me with. F440, I was hoping he was here. But F440, the seat and tank adjustment, allowing in the class to do for the comfort and everything else. And that's why I was hoping he was here, but to get his take on it, because I didn't get a whole lot of information. But I think the basis was kind of doing the sportsman approach to it, where keeping the tank stock location, in front of the driver versus side tanks, and then just seat for comfort and fit and everything else. Which I guess I'm not opposed to. Probably improves the class. Another one was Sportsman 600 skis. Well, actually, how about first? Anybody's opinions on the seat tank in F440?
I think what it'll do is actually make it a little more competitive, because the problem we have is we've got a very tall stock seat and run the risk of injury. So I think that having that option of running a smaller seat gives a bit more better control of the sled.
My opinion too. Yeah. Okay. Another one was Sportsman 600 ski stands. And this really isn't a change to anything. It's a matter of the way it's written in the rule book. Sportsman 600 ski stands per the book is measured on the outside of the skis versus the total width of the sled. So it's just it may affect sleds. I'm not that we have a lot of Sportsman 600s, but it may affect on, where it's measured at the widest part of the sled. So it could be people changing things just for this, fractions of an inch, but that was actually, it's a request CPTC is looking into also. And that's just, it's plain and simple. It's for uniformity of the rules. And because you go through the book and how they're measured, that one just comes up. It says widest spots or widest from the outside of the skis, and it spells out the skis. So anybody opinion on that? Okay. Next year, this year was highly suggested. The 8-inch LED on the left side of the sled. Well, just so everybody's aware, next year this is mandatory, and there really weren't that many of them this year. I was a little disappointed that people weren't already starting it, because next year that is a mandatory rule. It's 8-inch LED, back corner of the sled forward. And I mean, it's pretty wide open. I mean, I'll say it's a lax rule. I mean, that's the criteria is 8 inches of LED. It's not spelling, and it has to be red. My bad. It has to be red, but that's where it's not requiring certain brightness or whatever, but it's just requiring that. Sean?
How did that come up? Was that safety?
Yeah.
So there's a safety committee that started that?
Yeah. Well, that was from last year, put into rules, and it had a 1-year grace period, being this year where it was highly suggested, but they had 2 years out before it was going to take effect. And so you're aware, a taillight, when you start a race on the track, your taillight has to work when you start the race. If it goes out during a race, you don't get DQ'd for a taillight. And this is falling under that too. If they go out, it's not a DQ. Yeah. And, oh, I'm sorry.
Both of them before you start, both of them have to be working on the line.
Yeah.
Both lights have to be working.
Yes. Yeah. When you start the race. When you start the race.
Yes.
And this coming year, also, it was highly suggested this year, the helmet lights. Orange helmet light mounted on the strap or on its own strap, not directly to the helmet. Must be orange. If somebody does make a helmet that has a light, that's a approved, helmet that does have a light built into it, I mean, that's acceptable too, but we don't want lights mounted to helmets, but they can be on a strap. For that,
Face helmet. Like a no trail set helmet with no goggles strap.
can mount it on a strap, on its own strap.
Two snaps
I
like
think you
you
got
would
to
a shield.
punch the screw down, because if any object's hanging off the helmet, drives your head into there, it fractures that point, it's too dangerous.
You gotta get rid of heat.
Helmets are the goggles with an added piece to it.
Battery pack inside, get rid of those two.
Yeah.
Light.
It's no different than a GoPro. Same boat weight, how many grams, hanging off your helmet, you gotta band that. Why are you gonna have all lights? So they can do the same exact thing, you can at a mass force point. It's like walking across the field or somebody going across the field, how much damage can you do to the field?
Well, you understand this year, I mean, it was highly suggested and it's a rule next year.
I'm
That,
just bringing up the safety factor.
well, this was put in for a safety factor. And that's why they went with the strap.
I'm just bringing it up, because the GoPros kind of fall in the same category.
Well, no, they don't. What is the safety aspect of a GoPro on your helmet? What's it adding?
You could classify it as your light, then it doesn't have red light.
So who decided that it was?
See, I don't get this, because it doesn't make the helmet any safer.
No, it doesn't make the helmet safer.
It makes it unsafe though, because of the impact is increased at a small spot of the helmet, which would create fracturing of the carbon helmet shell.
See, this was put in, I mean, for driver, not spelling out helmet for the driver safety. It's for the visibility of seeing the driver, you know, in snow, dust and everything.
You got to look at both sides, because it can be dangerous as well. Now, if you have a head impact, your head slams against it, you drive a thing, it takes a slide, you're a paralyzed guy. Some agree.
Well, that's why this, well, Brandon, this is where it's on a strap. Most likely, that's gonna get, never?
I've never had pretty hard.
Yeah, true.
It does kind of fall in the same thing as why we ban GoPros, because of its impact.
I mean, I understand your side with the GoPro, and yeah, that is why GoPros got banned. I mean, that's exactly why GoPros got banned.
Yes. So why are we allowing an object that weighs the same amount to be on the helmet?
Nothing like harder.
Yeah,
It doesn't, dense plastic, even if it's a half inch, unless we got these lights down to razor thin, like an LED strip maybe, then I'd say, yeah, that may get by, because it's not gonna have that impact. Now, if you got a raised one that's this tall, it's the same as a GoPro. Sounds goofy.
no, and I get your side of it, but to me, that's not an argument to this.
This argument should have been done last year, though.
Well, it was. That's why it went into the rules.
Who made that decision?
It was the rules committee. Well, no, at ISR. This all got voted on by everybody.
USSA did not bring that to the table.
It's other committee or other organizations.
Because people eye lock on lights.
Yeah, so follow lights and you change.
People follow lights.
Did the insurance company have anything to do with that? Or?
Well, the insurance company had everything to do with the GoPros going away.
Yeah. Is it ISR making insurance company? That
Yeah.
where it started? With Todd?
No, well, no, I don't think it was. No, it wasn't. This was, I mean, brought by others to
Back to the original
them.
question you had, you know where goggles, how you attach the strap? Like, I'm still kind of confused how you can have a strap.
Yeah, well, his scenario with the conventional full face. Yeah, that is actually a good point. That is a good point.
I don't know. Yeah.
We can bring that back for more discussion, put a bullet on it.
Yeah.
Can you Velcro it?
Well, see, that's the thing. They don't want you attaching, regardless of how it's attached. They're not keen on you attaching anything to your helmet. That's why the whole orange helmet thing went away, because they don't want you painting helmets orange. And that's why they had to back off on that call.
Well, we're already, everyone's attaching the super series.
Yeah.
Those are being attached.
And yeah, that's acknowledged. And the thing is, the fact that you're doing that, you're taking the liability on, but certain things they spelled out, like with the orange, that went away because they don't want the manufacturers of the helmets. As soon as you attach decal, anything to your helmet, in their eyes, in the insurance world's eyes, you're taking over liability of that. I mean, I would prefer everybody to have orange helmets yet. I mean, to me, it's kind of ridiculous that they're not. But insurance, for whose liability, that's why they had to open it up.
So you need 3 lights at the line to race. Let's ask the question. You need
True.
3
Yes. When you start. When you start. Danny.
What if you don't have a goggle strap? Because I'm racing the quick strap. So can I stick the light on my helmet? Because I have no strap at the back. Like it's just a quick strap
The hook.
to the side, so I have nothing at the back.
Yeah, see, and that-
Another strap for the light.
Well,
Or
that's
I can
the-
just stick it on now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same as the Velcro attachment or adhesive attachment. Do I get spot? Ram 600 outlaw dollar? Okay. Okay, and outlaw 600 rules are, for the most part, going to get a good revamp because they're fairly out of date, and so a lot of stuff is going to be updated on those. It's not really changing anything because all it is catching the rules up to where they are now. So, anybody have an opinion on that, Joe?
Actually, the one rule that we wanted to bring up was we want to open it up to mock cylinders. We already got heads, we got open pipe, keep the carburetor stocked with the OEMs, but open up the cylinders, and maybe that would allow us to bring some of the Michigan and all these guys come and play. It's not going to change anything. We sent 4 stock sluts out to Canada last 2 weeks ago, and we were 1, 2, and 3 with the stockers over their full lot stuff. So, I mean, the 600 are pretty well, I think, as good as they could be if somebody wants to spend the money. But I think it'll just open it up where we might get a few more participants coming over our way on weekends. They don't have to race. So I don't know what your guys' feelings are on it. We built them for how many years? We raced against them, and I don't see any harm in doing it. It might help our company as well. Any input, you guys? Good.
Okay, and then nothing's changing, but just to make sure everybody is aware, though, with 106 tracks, I mean, until either something comes along in a 106 new, the process, as it's always been, is if your 106 is starting to get bad and shouldn't be on the track anymore, well, I'll tell you it shouldn't be on the track anymore. But until then, I mean, it's run what you're prong.
Just a quick update. I messaged Todd about the light on the helmet, and he's in Jackson Hole, but he said this is not written in stone. He says there's going to be more discussion this year at the IXR meeting. So I think Justin will be able to take everybody's concerns and their thoughts, and so everybody will just have to watch. We'll keep you posted on what comes, where it's going to be at, but that was Todd's response. So it's still up for discussion. It's not in stone yet with the light on the back of the helmet.
What about the one on the side of the foot? Is that up for discussion?
Like I
see people follow taillights into the woods for a light.
Well, I agree. I agree.
They,
It's killed more
they walk
people.
on
It's killed more people. Would agree.
And the pro light junior advance, that's its own discussion, right? Okay. And the driver and crew tech, is that
I think we were just gonna push to have that.
emphasized? Okay. Okay.
Not a change.
That's all I have. Anybody else? Anything that they want to bring?
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the speed deflector. If this is on itself, the speed deflector, is that the USSA approach and everything? Because I personally don't think they add much value at all to our class. I have personal experience of racing outside of someone and snow hitting me like directly in the face and ice chunks more now than in the past before that. And it creates more of a snow berm on the outside lane. Do bad things for safety. And personally, I don't think it does much with the snow dust. And I know the original Bolton on it, it was going to be a success. And it went well. You guys were going to make it mandatory in every class. So either it's going well and you guys have to make it mandatory, or it's not going well. We can get rid of it. It's kind of, can't just keep it in champ class and do what it's doing.
How did you put on the, okay? My opinion, we changed to one lane racing quite a bit. Lap 6, 7 already, it's, one lane at the bottom. Before we was kind of throw the snow and not make a snowbank, we were racing. And I don't think it helps much either. But it's gotta be either on or taken off, like you can't just say, oh, you can do it well, and something like that. I'd rather have to be taken off. The outside ski, inside ski, whatever, but outside ski, I don't think it should be there. It was the other.
Where's Joe at? I need CPR again, Joe.
I just wants to know who's computing, like. Oh, me. Go love it.
Just as a reminder, juniors in the room will be meeting at 2:30, just across the hall over here. Any drivers, or team members, parents, everybody's welcome. Me and Tyler will be in there. Answering your questions and go over things. So, just FYI. I think he was about done.
There you go.
That's it.
Sorry about that. The ski thing, that is our in-house cup. So I guess we can talk about that.
I guess just with all the drivers that are here and the champ guys, I mean, let's see a hand on who wants to go away. Or unanimous? Okay. All right. Who doesn't, who wants to keep it?
A big berm up there, for sure.
It does. I mean, there's no question about it. I think we solved a little bit of a problem, Joe. I think it helps on the snow dust a little bit, but it does create the berm. We've seen that. I mean, and even being involved with the Wausau track where we were hands-on, it does build. There's no question about it. When we go out there to plow, there is a pile, you know, whether it's 3, 4, 5 inches, and it happens quick. I mean, if we run 3 or 4 rounds of champs, by the time that's done, the next class is shipped. Yeah. I mean, there's no question about that. Did it solve the problem? I think it helped, but it created 2 other problems. I agree with Gunnar that it, you know, watching the races, if you look back at the films, you see the spray coming right directly back to the guy on the outside, and it doesn't carry. I mean, when we group in racetracks, we see it. All of a sudden, we're not having to go all the way to the top because the pile is right there. So there's no question about it. I think it's a good. I don't know if we need to go away from it or if we leave it as it's optional. If you want to run one, you can run one. If you don't, you don't. But I guess that's something that, you know, we could discuss going forward.
Gotta go away.
What's that?
Can't be optional.
Just take it away.
Well, it's for the communal, track. It's not like a personal, hey, it's gonna help me, it's helping everybody else. It's like,
Even racing
not
at
helping
eight
everybody.
races, you notice it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make a decision.
Well, I think you guys kind of spoke for yourselves. I mean, we're here to work with you guys. So it's, you know, if that's what the driver's feeling is, that's what it is. We'll, you know, then we can change.
But that light on the helmet, I mean, you're creating a lot of things that could possibly go wrong. Velcro.
Yeah.
Can't catch, you can't, it's just.
Well, that's.
Three nights in the race, it's a little crazy.
We completely understand it. We're gonna take that to ISR. Justin will be there. I'll be there myself. I've already talked to Todd about it. He's knowing that discussion's coming. So we will, you know, that'll be part of our speaking for our members. That's what we'll address. Is anybody in favor of the light on the helmet?
Paper plate.
The light on the helmet.
Just keep it optional.
Keep it optional?
Yeah, just keep it optional. The guys going around, keep running. The guys going around.
I'm all for optional. Once you want to have a light on there, it's great. But don't want another reason.
Yeah. Did you raise your hand?
Yeah, because maybe some of you guys have never known back to back, but when you are, the only thing is even if the plane is far away and I have that in front of me, and I want to look where he is, I can find him because of the light. And I don't know if because the snow dust stays down low, but I think the light, I don't have a light right now, and I'm gonna have a light next year, and I think we need to have it. Because the only thing you can see is plane out front. I know it's easy to tell from, but you can see because of the light.
I can tell you as an official, when we're watching the races, the lights on the back of the helmet are absolutely the best. You can see the drivers, and when the snow dust is marginal and we're questioning whether we should continue to race or not, those lights are very visible. And if you want to take, I mean, if it is optional, that rule will be with ISR. I mean, we'll bring our concerns to them, but there's no question a light on the back of the helmet. I would take my chances if I fell off the sled and wrapped my head in the ground that I'm not going to be paralyzed with that little light in the back of my head over the fact of not having it on my head. That's just mine. That's your own, Scott.
So I was just thinking maybe instead of just being helmet only, you can also put it on the back of your next race. You didn't want to put it on the helmet, you can have it on the back of your next race.
That's very good. That's a very good point.
Just optional, just like an option.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
What's that? Are rules correctly open? If you have some, or what, yeah, you have anything else?
I consider that there would maybe some people trying to finish, or if I could sponsor the vote. I don't know if that's true.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, somebody did approach asking if, that was a possibility.
I don't know the question. Yeah.
Adding hookers and 10-inch was a carbide to F3.
I would be not a voter, no hookers, that's just more work. We don't do that. The 10-inch carbide may be something to try, but I don't know.
As aggressive as the front ends look like they are already, I don't know what you want. I don't think that at all.
I agree, I just.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Depends for the rest of some.
Craig, do you have anything, Craig? Craig,
Isn't the carbide open to 14 inches already?
No.
On F3.
Anything else as far as ISR rules?
Plus their distance for road taxes.
Okay, to give you the latest piston update. Yeah, you pick them up in the
I
lobby.
got 13 of them in the truck. They're not OEM.
Yeah. More emails have been sent. More emails have not been answered. Yeah, so as of this point, so nothing has changed. It's the understanding, and it's as it's written right now. It is OEMs or SPIs. I mean, that kind of still has to stand. And trust me, I'm hoping that this all follows through and happens. But at this point,
How is Polaris getting up in?
Screws now.
Screws now.
because Polaris had OEM stock sitting over there from 2004. Skidoo in 2018 had them destroy whatever stock they had sitting there. Yeah, they had destroyed 99 of them back in 2018.
So back to Justin's point, if they don't come, could we allow Boston?
We're
Yes, right.
well, I mean, then you have to look at the big picture on it. I mean, JF Wasner's, Weisco,
Fine.
I mean, are you going to hammer out a list? I mean, even though they're cast pistons and forged pistons and.
We all want the OEMs. That could,
Yeah, yes.
It's not sustainable.
You might as well make the guys Polaris.
So
There would be no Polaris pistons after that.
Open up,
Exactly.
sounds like you're asking, can the other aftermarket be allowed?
Yeah, because I mean, why are we spelling out just the Wasner? It's a forged. Well, the SPI is because, those are replacement OEM style pistons.
Wasner is too, correct?
They're forged, and nobody has a forged piston. And that's where that kind of removes them right off the get-go, because it's not OEM style, because they're not a cast piston.
What if we just do OEM dimensions?
Well, we still have to factor
Performance.
weight has to get figured into that for the OEM. And honestly, I mean, Wasners are heavy pistons.
So, be a competitive team. You can't go up the bush, sure. With anything other than an SPI piston or an OEM piston, and run a weekend and stay in a competitive points race.
There's no performance.
Without risking cylinders and motors and parts.
There's no performance enhancement by the Wasner.
So let's see.
No, it's under your piston, which is rotating mass.
Right. Yeah.
So you're sort of screwed.
That's just simply reliability over the SPI.
White load and what you do. You make one.
Sure, you can get Weisskopes
What's that?
forged also.
So if we put a list together of pistons that we will allow.
Why can't you just open it up to any commercially available?
But what we don't want is all of a sudden pistons getting manufactured. Because, you know, George Sampson, I mean, they do it. I mean, anybody can do it. I'm just using George. You know, he has 12 made at a time for Sabrina and, you know, whatever. We don't want to open it up to where all of a sudden we're getting pistons made one-offs for this and that because our dyno guys are engine builders. I mean, and I'm not throwing them under the bus, but this is where we got to have some kind of a limitation on what. So basically, if there's a list that we put together to allow the aftermarket products.
Dyno testing of pistons is bullshit.
Oh, I agree with you. Absolutely. It doesn't show.
Bullshit testing is.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. So,
The Wasner system has a number in it, right? Verify that it's a Wasner system or a one-off system. Wasner converted.
Well, I mean, the opening it up to all aftermarkets, I mean, that is going to mean that, I mean, everybody's pistons are coming off now every time. I mean, that was, I mean, I'll tell you guys outright, the fact that everybody's still on OEMs, you know, because I can measure up the OEMs in place, you know, do all the inspection on them, you know, but right now if you go to the aftermarkets, that means every time those pistons are coming out, so I can do real, you know, in depth on them. Yeah, well, I mean, but it will. I mean, we're sealing motors, so, but you know, as long as you're good, because you know, with the Wasners, you're not going to be running a season on Wasners, so you're going to be putting pistons in, so your motor's going to be coming apart a lot more, you know.
But we don't have a choice not to, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
If there was an alternative.
even if this would be a temporary fix for a year or whatever until we get the OEM ones, if we ever do. I mean, it might be an option. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, I mean.
If the OEM would show up, you're not gonna have to worry about looking at losses.
Yeah, exactly. Or any others.
I think
You also got to put Taiwan.
Yeah.
There's actually 4.
Is anybody opposed to opening the piston roll up? I mean, I know we've got Polaris racers in here too. I mean, is anybody opposed to it if we did it for the manufacturer? I mean, for the sake of Skidoo. I mean, I know Polaris we've got, and just to clarify that story, so Davey Wall got permission from Polaris to get pistons made, and Polaris actually engineering called up there to do it, and there was 90 some on the shelf. He ordered 300, so I don't know if Dave's going to have any major work.
No, he didn't get them made. They were there and sitting in old stock, and he just got them released is all it was.
But some of them they had to have the order that came right from Davey's mouth.
Oh,
So they are getting it.
What's that?
They are getting made in your mind and your mind.
Oh, he had them made a while back. It's been a couple of years, but I don't know how many he's got left or if he'll run another order. But you know, so Elko definitely did make the pistons for Dave. or, supply them what.
Yeah, because when I was calling for these, Elko still had Polaris pistons in stock over there.
Like Terry says, you have no choice, you gotta open it up to something. Unless the SBIs are the ticket.
Nobody's tested the SPI's under a threat. Eric?
What's that?
You haven't tested the SPI's under a threat, right?
No, because they never made it out of the shop.
Bob,
I didn't get one time before.
what the water?
That's exciting.
The last
So there you go. Maybe just add the wife.
I think we'll put it on there. Talk about more, but.
Okay, so yeah, we'll discuss, opening it up to aftermarket for a interim period, hoping that the stock ones will be coming to us.
I would say with
You got a
general.
lot of ahead of you. You just travel over there.
You're on it first. It's the 106, 116 thing too, Everybody's gonna have to go to 116.
Unless somebody comes up with a 106.
Get George to make smart enough.
You better have to
We
be.
totally fix it, right?
I think it's.
So general consensus, we will put in a list of manufactured aftermarket pistons for the Skidoo motors. And until with the provision that it will change back to OEM once they're available, if they become available. Are we all in agreement with that?
Yes.
Who's here? What's that?
What was that? Sorry.
We're gonna allow the aftermarket, we're gonna open up the aftermarket piston to include the Wasners until the OEM pistons, if they do come available for the Skidoo motors. What's that?
Gotta say all brands.
All brands.
You can't have it top, you can't not have it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Blake.
cat pistons either, can you?
What's that?
You can't do cat pistons either, can you?
I think there are some. Country Cat's got them all.
Just gotta pay for it. Yeah, I think from lack of the board trying to keep on this piston deal, trust me, it's very important for us to keep the class going. We talk about it every meeting. We talked about it today. It's on the forefront of our minds to get them, so we're trying, but we only can move so much, so.
3 years ago, there were cylinders coming, there were pistons coming, there was everything coming in.
I know.
Anything else?
All right, that'll do Brian Starr. We'll have Tyler come up and talk about the drivers committee. Tyler does take care of our junior advancement also. Just FYI, if you ever have any questions, he's the person to talk to. All that junior information is on our website. The driver committee, how we go about doing it is not, so that's why we thought to give a little presentation today. So take it away, Tyler.
Oh, so like Len said, I'm Tyler. I take care of most of our drivers committee and our junior committee. This year we got kind of hammered on a lot of weird stuff, a lot pertaining to F500, a lot of our advancement mostly from Sport F500 to Open F500. There's a lot of questioning who is eligible, who shouldn't be running the class in Sport, who should be advanced out. Our procedure in the past here with Sport F500 was always the winner of the class. We would, ask them nicely, write a letter, and basically request that the winner of Sport F500 no longer ran Sport. They would advance up. You have the option to run Sportsman Combo or Open F500 at that point. Sport F500 is meant to be more of a feeder class. It's kind of a trophy class, low entry fee, low payout. The problem we ran into is not this season, but the 2 seasons before, we didn't have a season. We had one race. We had Wausau every year. So at that point, can you really ask somebody to advance out of a class that you won one race in. And that was kind of our view on that. So we just kind of let it slide. This year we got hammered a lot because there were probably a handful of drivers running sport and open F500 that did really well in both. We reviewed it kind of part of the way through the season and said, do we need to ask people to leave or not? And when we kind of looked at past results over the last 2 years, these people that are dominating this handful of drivers, and I've got a list here, until this year, they weren't dominant drivers. They'd have an okay run here or there, but I mean, there was nobody dominating. So we decided this year, yeah, we'll go through and maybe after this season, we have some more data. Maybe we can ask 2 or 3 drivers that shouldn't be in it to move out. I mean, that's kind of the procedure it goes through. Like I said, it doesn't go through me. I don't make the decision. It goes through our committee and we all discuss it, not just the committee, but other board members that have a lot of experience watching these drivers also. So I don't know if anybody has questions on that or comments on that. I mean, it's not just one of us that make this decision. Like I said, we have the committees. Everything does go through committees, and a lot of times there's even more than that committee involved in it. But like I said, I know we took a lot of flack on Facebook, and it's not just our events either, but we still get the phone calls that they're, like I said, why is so-and-so running this? You know, they just won F500. Why are they running sport? Well, and I don't know if Colton minds me using him as an example. But, I mean, we look back, like I said, we didn't really have a season the last 2 years. And if we go back to 2023, Colton was still running juniors. You know, there are a couple other drivers that they weren't even racing sleds until 2 years ago or a year ago. So it's really hard to get a pattern there. You know, one win doesn't make a dominant sled. So we try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt to give them as much racing as they can. And we've had it in the past where we had dominant sleds throughout the season that we just went and approached them and said, you know, you probably shouldn't be in the sport class. And I think every time I've brought it up to them, the drivers have all just said, yeah, we understand. It's never really been an issue in the past.
So the only thing to really add to that, if you do think there's a discrepancy or maybe we're not on top of it, just give Tyler, myself, or Bob, contact any one of us, just take a look at it. I can't say we always catch everything, but we try to do the best we can. So I prefer to call one of us before you post on Facebook. If you don't like the answer we give you or don't do follow-up, well then go ahead and read it, I guess. But we try doing our best. We do have processes in place, and luckily, like Tyler, he goes to a lot of different tracks, so he does get to see a race in a lot of different configurations and different areas and outside our series even. So he has a lot of data, and the rest of us kind of keep a watch on stuff. Even if we're not in Canada, we're watching it. So anyway, we got a question?
So if we start not kicking people out of sport, but telling them to race pro, are they going to get 2 days to race? Like, are they going to be able to race Saturday and Sunday?
Yes.
Or are they only going to be able to race Sunday? Because I know a lot of people run sport just for, like, when I was back racing F500, I ran sport just to get more track.
Unless there's a real weird scenario, we always keep our sportsman combo day and F500 day 2 separate days. So that way you always do have your 2 days to race, regardless whether you're in sport or not. You always have the eligibility to run sportsman combo the alternate day of F500.
Keep a stock hood on and run sportsman too.
If it is in stock trim, it is sportsman legal.
Go light on those days again. Rather than like an E or just on one day and there's quite a few groups that are, I think, that are approaching that point. So
the question was asked, we can run full lane both days. That'd be something that we can bring back to the board and talk about it, just see if we can put it there, if it makes sense. We can't guarantee yes or no, I guess. What do you got on thought?
I guess if the numbers are there, you know, that's the biggest thing. It's just, the days are pretty full with scheduling. Deanna does a great job, and we're trying to, you know, the pro champ is both days. We don't like to go, that's what, this Pro Star, I mean, the Pro Light runs the opposite day of the Pro Star Cup Tour. So we try to, what's that, same day? So I mean, it's definitely we can look at it. I know we've got, there's several definitely junior drivers coming up that are definitely qualified for it, so.
Yeah, we're willing to run if you know if the numbers are read where we're not looking for 5 or 6. Well, give them some seat time and some confidence. We'll always look at it, no doubt in that.
What's the advancement of F3 champ again? Just,
As far as ages,
is it just age?
yeah, well, there's criteria. Once again, it goes through a board once it's submitted. All advancement has to get submitted, basically a request letter. We process it, send it on to our board, we review it. Like Formula 3 would be another one of them that falls into the category of you have to be minimum age of 16 before you can request to advance into it, or 18 by natural aging into it.
We have no control if they're 18.
Zero.
So once you're 18, we don't really have a whole lot of jurisdiction.
That's fine. You jump into it like an idiot like that, you're gonna get black flag, so.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Anything else you want to do, or I'll start opening it up by class? All right, we'll just kind of open up the questions. I kind of wanted to start today. Is there any questions from like the 440 fan, sportsman people? We did talk a little bit about sportsmen already, so. All right. Any questions, suggestions from the F5 group? All right, excellent. How about F3? If not, if there's anything from the Jan class, or is any thing you'd like, any suggestions? I guess we had some ready with the rules and everything. All right.
I guess we're at the kind of the Pro Star Cup Tour. Little update on the schedule for coming up for this year. It's tentatively going to be just like last year. I think we're probably going to be looking at Valcourt. I don't know where we're going to sit with that. We haven't discussed anything with them. And like I said, there's going to be some changes. There's some date changes coming with a couple of events just because of the way the schedule is and the calendar works. But the Pro Star Cup Tour will be viable again. We do have a big announcement, a big change coming for the Pro Star Cup Tour. We've been in touch and we've had a board meeting and vote, and we want to bring in a director coordinator for the Pro Star Cup Tour, and we did it. I want to introduce you guys, which you all know, Mr. Brett Richter. Yeah. So, Brett contacted us a month and a half ago. He reached out to us, myself and Leonard. We had a couple of Zoom meetings. We've met, talked. He's proposed a few things. We've had board meetings since then. The board is taking it on. We're excited. We can always grow and do things better. And, we're not ever going to short ourselves because of anything. So I think Brett is a great coming on board with us again and taking over with the Pro Star Cup Tour. He'll be the one, and I'll let him explain his roles. We'll still be USSA Pro Star Cup Tour, but there will be some changes in the works, and hopefully we can grow it and make it better. That's what we want to hear about.
Thank you. Good to see everybody. I might have been a bit of a surprise coming in the door, but here I am. Pretty excited to step into this role for this upcoming season. I thank Leonard, Bob, the board at USSA for giving me the opportunity to take a shot at this. I think the beauty of what I'm standing here going to try to do over the next 12 months is I don't have a horse in this race. I'm not affiliated with a team. I'm not affiliated with a venue. I'm not affiliated with a manufacturer. For some reason, what you guys do on an ice oval track intrigues me to no end, and I think we have to share that with the right people so the sport has an opportunity to grow. And that's my motivation. I don't have anything else. So I'm going to be as transparent as you need me to be and you want me to be. But I'm also going to tell you I got a team of people that I've already started assembling. A lot of you know Kara Spatz from Wausau, right here in Wausau. She worked with Ralph at 525. She's going to come on board and help us do some marketing and some of those types of things. Brad Malmgren is going to come back and help us do some digital work. If you've seen Brad's work in the past, you know he's really talented. My brother, who used to race F440 van and F500, he went through a major health thing here a couple of years ago and can't race anymore. So he's going to be our on-site venue person. He'll take care of making sure banners, flags, all those types of things are going on for the tour that need to be done. Also got some other people like my cousin who does some fabricating work for us. If you've seen the placards on the front stretch and the podiums and things we've used in the past, he's made those for us. He's willing to come back in and help us as well. So we've got a lot of things already in the hopper. We've got some stuff we've worked on and things we're prepared for, and we're going to be excited to share some of that with you here shortly. So what Leonard and Bob have agreed to is 10 minutes after this meeting's over, we're going to have an informal tour meeting. So if you're interested in talking about the tour for next year, I'd invite you to come back, stick around, stay, listen, whatever, ask some questions. We'll share with you what we're thinking about and what we know, some of the stuff. I think you'll be surprised potentially at the work that's already been done. And then the next year's tour season starts midnight tonight, and I think we'll be ready to go. So I'll leave it here for now. So like I said, 10 minutes after they're done, feel free to stop back in and I'll take control and we'll have a chat. Okay? Good to see everybody.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? I guess if you haven't voted yet, make sure you go back there and vote. Remember? Does anybody have anything else for this afternoon?
Yeah, I can speak about that. Is there any way, I'm not a Facebook person, is there any way to open up a separate page of communication that's not on the general public's Facebook with your members if you're going to use that as a communication site? So that it's not going to everybody that's.
I say our main way we do it now is through Deanna, like we send out our emails in the fall, and then, you know, get good information and things like that. I mean, we can basically email, direct email. It's not a conversation piece, but it's.
I just.
Because what are you looking for?
Oh, there's some talk that some bashing goes on Facebook and that. Try to eliminate some of that from being in the public eye.
That's why I said, like, so you contact us first, and if we don't do our job, then you ask us.
Fortunately, the majority of it comes from people that aren't involved in it.
Right. That's the worst.
Just sort
We
of
try to get rid of any negativity. You know, there's comments that are hidden and deleted repeatedly when they're posted on our page. We won't permit any negativity. And if we don't see it, reach out and we'll get rid of it right away. I mean, I try to watch it really close.
You try to do some filtering, but I guess.
There is a big difference between negativity and constructive criticism.
Right, anybody have anything else?
So the schedule is Brett Steele, he's gonna talk about that.
Well, no, it's gonna be USSA schedule. I mean, that's not, you know, we're running the races, so, I mean,
So it's pretty much the same as last year, Manawa, blah, blah, blah.
we're not sure yet. There's some stuff in the works, guys, and I apologize. We wanted to get through this meeting. We had to discuss some stuff with the board. There's some things on with certain tracks and dates, and as soon as we know, you know, the races are hard to come by. I mean, if we had new venues, we're all about it. You know, we're gonna have probably a date open. So, you know, depending on what happens, we're all ears. I mean, we want to make it the best. I mean, you know, I know we're not a typical lake racing group, but it was a venue. We went there. I think Dave was there.
So I had the trailer on there with the.
Yeah, and I agree. I scared the hell out of me. We started with 20-inch ice, so you got 8-inch holes in the corner, and all of a sudden you got 4 front end loaders on 12-inch ice. Scares the shit out. And I mean, I'll be the first one to admit, you know, my 4-wheeler, I tried to stay as far away as I could. I didn't like it either, but you know, at this time, that's where we were at. We tried it, we did it. We've had a lot of feedback, and I can say we've had as much opposing it as we've had more opposing than we've had for it. So, but we're all ears. We're going to listen. And,
There's a long season.
yeah, I agree.
It was a long season.
Yeah. And I, you know, here we haven't spoken with Alcourt. There's no other reason that we just haven't. I don't think we're gonna have to make a decision. I mean, I don't know how their feelings are. We had 11 champs, I think there was 12. It's probably up there. You know, we've got Scott, you know, from Eganville here. We're definitely going back to Eganville. I guarantee you that. Both here, both of those events are back on. I think Friday Night Thunder was a big success. Craig and his group did a great job. They had an awesome track this year. There's some discussion with the World Series. I'm not gonna hide you guys. We had a great, it was a super event. I mean, BV working with BVR and us running Friday and Saturday was a great event. But it's gotta make sense, you know, I mean, if the numbers branched out, and whatever it is, if it's economically feasible to do, that's something we're looking at. I can tell you that would be the event that we're looking at the date change because of some other commitments that Craig has made with different venues with the 4th weekend in February. So that's something that we're looking at. It's just not all finalized yet. So Ironwood, according to Greg, that was going to be back on. So you know, Wausau, we're talking with Wausau right now. It's we've been year to year. They've got some different ideas what they want to do. I think we're going to come to an agreement, and hopefully we'll be back in there. So it's just, you know, it's nothing bad. It's just, you know, as time goes on, things change, and we're trying to accommodate and roll with punches. So, you know, break the take and use the good ones. You know that, you know, the title ones are all, you know, going to be back there. So we're just. I think a 10 race or 9 race season is long, yeah, and I think everybody agrees with us that is long, but we still want to accommodate everybody that we can.
All right, any other questions? All right, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. We are adjourned. We'll see you tonight, 5 o'clock is cocktail hour, 6 o'clock dinner, and 2:30 I'll meet with the juniors across the hall. And then meeting finalists, we could have some of the champ teams stick around, and Fred, I'll have a small meeting.